Okay, hello everyone. Dan here once again from 609 Sports Talk, coming at you guys with another video on this beautiful Friday, which is when this video will be dropping. And in today's video, I want to talk about what are the 2025 expectations for former first overall pick in Panthers quarterback Bryce Young. Now, of course, we all know Bryce Young, who was the number one overall pick in the 2023 draft. It's been a little bit of a rough start to him in his NFL career. First year, it was rough. Last year, he was benched for Andy Dalton midway through the season. He ultimately did get the job back after Andy Dalton got hurt. And I'm not going to lie. What I saw from Bryce Young towards the end of the season, when he regained the starting job, there is definitely something there for the Panthers to build off of. First off, the one that really goes out to you the most is the game they played against the Eagles. Now, I know it's only one game, but Bryce Young almost took his team down the field and beat not only the soon-to-be at the time Super Bowl champions, but almost did it on one of the easily top two defense in the league. The Eagles had the best defense in football last year, and he almost went right down the field and won that game. So I know it's only one game I'm talking about, but that was the real big eye-opener. Like, okay, maybe there is something with this kid. Another one, the game they played against the Chiefs. It took the Chiefs a field goal with 2 seconds left on the clock to beat them. Bryce Young led the drive down the field late in that game. So Bryce Young did show some flashes late last year against pretty good competition. And I think most of us can agree the hardest position to evaluate is the quarterback position. It is hard to know who is your guy and what guy can you develop into something that can give your team the most opportunity for success in the then and the now and the future. So for Bryce Young, I think the Panthers started this off a little bit on the wrong foot. Even though C.J. Stroud had a really good rookie year, C.J. Stroud took a dip last year, right? Bryce Young has taken a couple years now to show us some flashes. The 2023 quarterback draft class was not the strongest. Like there wasn't the Joe Burrows or a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes. And even some of those guys weren't highly touted coming out of college. But the biggest example was Joe Burrow. He went number one overall. He was the best college quarterback the year before he was drafted. There was no Joe Burrows in the 2023 draft class, right? I thought the Panthers would have been better off, no matter who they took, was to have somebody, a veteran in place like an Andy Dalton, to start first and let the kid they drafted, which ultimately ended up being Bryce Young, sit for a little bit. I know you say, oh, you're number one overall pick, you got to play. Well, yeah, but there are also guys that have been drafted number one that played day one and didn't turn out to anything. But then there are guys that sat for a year and they turned into really good players. Here's an example. He wasn't the number one overall pick, but that was the Philadelphia Eagles plan in 2016 with Carson Wentz. They were going to draft Carson, have him sit and essentially be the QB3 behind Chase Daniel, who, of course, is the worst analyst ever on FS1 now. And then Sam Bradford was going to be the starter. Now, ultimately, Teddy Bridgewater got hurt. The Vikings ended up moving a first-round pick to the Eagles for Sam Bradford, and everything became different. We get that. But even, I like what the Seahawks are doing. They signed Sam Darnold. They drafted Jalen Milroe in the third round, and they're going to have him sit for a year or two and develop as a quarterback. So I really thought the Panthers could have went that route with Bryce Young, and I think it would have turned out a little bit better. But going into 2025, I think we could see some more flashes from Bryce Young. I love their head coach, Dave Canales, who was the offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay when they basically resurrected Baker Mayfield's career. So Dave Canales has some success with some quarterbacks that they have to get right. I do like Dave Canales as a head coach, and I think Bryce Young and him could be a nice little coach-quarterback duo down there in Carolina for a few years to come. But ultimately, it's the way the Panthers organization has moved this offseason. Just taking a look here now, last year, they had some solid players. They have Chuba Hubbard at running back. He is still he's an underrated running back, in my opinion. They have Xavier Legette, who, all right, not the greatest rookie year, 497 yards, 4 touchdowns. Not bad. Also numbers are kind of misleading because they did not have the greatest quarterback situation, especially early on in the season. Bryce did not play well in the beginning of the year. But they had Legette last year, and they had Adam Thielen. So they did have some weapons that they could use in terms of what they had around Bryce Young. But what did they do in this offseason that showed you they are committed to Bryce Young? They went out and added more to their offense. Not only do they have Chuba Hubbard, they signed Rico Dowdle, who had 1,000 yards last year in Dallas. I mean, he's also going to help replace Jonathan Brooks, who is going to miss this year with that knee injury again, and it's a shame because Jonathan Brooks is a talented running back. They also drafted Trevor Etienne out of Georgia. So there's 2 new running backs to go along with Chuba Hubbard to give Bryce Young, hopefully, a really strong run game. And then, not only do they have Xavier Legette, they still have Adam Thielen as that veteran in the room. I still find it funny that they signed Hunter Renfrow out of retirement, but the Panthers' defense was one of the worst in football last year. And what did they go out and do? They went out and spent their first-round pick on Tedorota McMillan to give the Panthers and Bryce Young a wide receiver 1. McMillan is the big physical go up and get it type of wide receiver. And that's the Panthers showing Bryce Young, we trust in you. We're going to build a very good run game with Dowdle and Hubbard and maybe Etienne. We have Adam Thielen and Xavier Legette. Now they drop to your wide receivers 2 and 3. McMillan is your 1. They are showing Bryce Young that they have expectations for him in 2025, and he now will have to perform to those expectations as the former number 1 overall pick. And honestly, I think he will. For just the fact that he came out after last year, he got benched. He didn't sulk, didn't cry about it. He sat behind Andy Dalton for a few weeks. He learned. He accepted his assignment. He came back out and played really solid football. And that's the kind of character you like to see in a guy like that. So I expect Bryce Young to have a really solid season in 2025. I'm not saying he's going to come out and throw over 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I'm not saying that. But I could see him in the range of, 3,000 to 3,500 passing yards, 25 plus touchdowns. Maybe he knocks the interceptions around like maybe 7 to 10. And I think that would be a very solid season given what we've seen out of Bryce Young. I think he has the potential to work out of these early career slumps that he's had. And I think the benching last year really did him good. I think it gave him some time to reset his mindset and reset himself. And it showed late last year. And I'm expecting more jump in year 3 from Bryce Young. Some quarterbacks, it takes till year 3 to really see what they can do. And I think he has the weapons that will grow with him. Legette's only in his 2nd year. McMillan's a rookie. Chuba Hubbard's still a young running back. Rico Dowdle's still a young running back. I think that they have potential to get Bryce Young where he has to be. And I think year 3 will be a pivotal year for Bryce Young. And I think he's going to answer the call, especially when he has a coach like Dave Canales, who I like a lot. But guys, I'm going to get up on out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do me that favor. Hit that subscribe button. We're closing in on 200 subs here on the good old YouTube channel. Thank you guys for all your support, and I will see you guys next time.